Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all the witnesses for being here. Ms. Harrell, if I could start with you, I want to come back to the topic of the old growth forests and the new National Forest Management Plan that Senator Barrasso was talking with you about a little bit ago. As you probably know, hopefully, my state is home to the Mark Twain National Forest, which encompasses about 1.5 million acres in the state of Missouri. We're very proud of that. It's an important part of our state's natural resources. Let me just ask you, what will this new management plan mean for the Mark Twain National Forest? How many acres will be banned or restricted from logging?
Thank you, Senator. So the proposed action just had a scoping notice, and we just received public comments, so we are examining those public comments. However, I would like to highlight that the intent of the old growth strategy is to enable proactive stewardship in order to be able to ensure that old growth conditions can be present on the landscape, and that very much reflects the fact that wildfire is one of the most significant risks to those conditions.
So will there be any restrictions on logging in the Mark Twain National Forest as a result of the plan?
Well, the scoping notice in general calls for proactive stewardship, which does not prohibit harvest in old growth stands. It is intended for ecological restoration purposes.
Okay, so I just want to be clear, because this, as you may imagine, this is a subject of considerable interest to farmers and others in my state. The Missouri Farm Bureau has written you a letter on this subject, so I just want to be clear. Your testimony is there's not going to be any bans or restrictions on logging, any new ones in the Mark Twain National Forest.
The proposed action highlights the need for proactive stewardship for ecological purposes. So
yeah, I'm hearing you say that phrase, but can we just get down to, I'm asking you, I don't know what that means, and not that there's any farmer in my state. So will there be bans or limits on logging in the Mark Twain National Forest as a result of this plan?
There are not bans, or there would not be bans or limits on logging for ecological purposes.
Okay, so would there be any new limits on logging or timber harvesting in the Mark Twain National Forest as a result of this new management plan?
I'll have to get back to you specifically about the Mark Twain National Forest, but the policy is still being developed. But what the policy currently describes is the need for proactive stewardship for ecological purposes, which includes timber harvest.
Well, my understanding is the plan bans logging in areas of national forests that are classified as old growth forests, limits logging in areas that are classified as mature. The Missouri Farm Bureau, as I mentioned, wrote you a letter in February, actually, of last year with concerns about the proposal. Have you responded to them?
I will have to get back to you on the status of the response.
Well, what they're concerned about is the decline in timber harvest revenues and what that will do to public schools in the Mark Twain region that we depend on in the state of Missouri. They're concerned about the number of forest acres that will be banned from logging. They're concerned about the ability to adequately manage the threat of wildfires in the forest under this rule. So what's your response to all of those concerns?
The response is that we will still be able to manage those areas for risks that are present in the forest.
So we're not going to see a decline in revenues for public schools as a result of this plan?
Senator, I'll have to get back to you on the specific response to the question.
Okay, I would appreciate it, and I'd appreciate a response to their concerns. As I said, they wrote you over a year ago. This is a very significant concern to my state. I mean, the Missouri Department of Agriculture estimates that the forest products industry contributes $10 billion to the economy of Missouri, $10 billion, and supports 46,000 jobs. That's a lot of jobs in my state. That's a lot of working people. And a lot of people depend on the public schools in the Mark Twain region that are funded by timber harvest revenues. So I want to make sure kids go to school, that our schools stay open. I want to make sure that we don't lose jobs. I don't want any jobs lost, particularly not 46,000 jobs. I don't want to see revenues from my state go down. I don't want to see the state of Missouri get left behind because of some new plan by your administration. Does that make sense? Okay, so you're going to get me responses. You're going to respond to the Farm Bureau's letter and copy me in, and then you're going to get me responses about the effect on revenues for public schools, the number of acres that will be banned or restricted from logging, and the ability to manage wildfire threats. Yes? All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.